Hey, honey, it's your girl Brianna J, and this is Break Free From Yourself podcast. This podcast is my precious baby that is centered around self reflection and self love. It's about a young woman's journey, me, of course, to find inner peace, but also realizing that sometimes she can play a role in holding herself back from that peace. This is going to be a space where I'll be real with y'all, but I'll also be real with myself. Listen, I know I'm not the only one that can hold themselves back from that greatness that they're supposed to be. Maybe y'all will be able to relate and we can get through this journey together. So let's take a walk together, hun. I'm going to test this out. Now keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Hey, honeys, it's your girl, Brianna J, and welcome back to another episode of Break Free From Yourself podcast. I may be looking at myself. I don't know. It's just a habit, but I'm trying to look at the camera. I do want to apologize. I was supposed to post this last week, but I didn't even record last week. Like for the past week or so, I've been gaming every night until 3 o'clock. So my schedule's been all out of whack. Like it's literally been a struggle. But I got a question. So, how do y'all respond when you make a purchase of either a product or a service and it's not up to your standard? And this can apply to food, clothing, getting your nails and hair done, whatever you like that you're spending your money on. How do you respond? Do you, turn up and shake the table? Or do you sugarcoat it? Or is it a case by case basis? So for me, it's a case by case basis. Now, I'm never going to play with my food. Like, if you don't get my food back in that kitchen, or you're going to run me back my money. I know there was a few times where I would go, I don't go to McDonald's that much anymore. I try not to go at all. But in the past, I would go to McDonald's and I'd get, my 10-piece with my sweet and sour sauce. And they tell me that they didn't have no sauce after they knew when I ordered that they didn't have no sauce. So I'd be at the window and politely ask, well, can I get a refund? Give me my refund if y'all ain't got no sauce. And then they would mysteriously and magically have some sauce available. How do y'all respond when you're not satisfied with the product or service? So, this is going to be a couple of stories where I'm talking about how I was not satisfied with either a product or a service. And I did not press the issue because I said it's a case by case basis. So there were a few times where I did not press the issue or I did try to sugarcoat and it did not work out in my favor. Sometimes you just got to be upfront. I don't like it. Don't sugarcoat because you may have some situations like I had where you kind of had to, it took longer to get what you wanted or you just, took that L. So here's a couple situations where the product I was paying for and the situation flipped on me. So the first instance happened a few years back when I attempted to get my nails done. Excuse me. So I went to the nail salon. I'm not going to say the name, but it is where, I used to live. The owner of the shop was really the only one in the shop that could do nails. He had other people in there that could possibly do toes, some that were either starting and some who just were trying to perfect their craft. So the last time I went there, I went and I was like, yo, you did my nails before. I showed you a picture and you did this. I showed him the original and I showed him what he did because I really liked it. And I said, you did this for me before and I loved it. So pause. What does that tell you? Like, what does that tell you if somebody said, you did this before and I loved it? Doesn't that mean that they want you to do their nails? To me, that's what I thought it meant. I want you to do my nails. Well, that's not what was heard. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all the original nails, and then I'm going to show you what he did for me. So here are the original nails. Ooh, lights in the way. And these were my nails. Okay. So yeah, why the hell did he take somebody else and send me to somebody else? I just told y'all he was the only person in the shop to know how to do nails. And I told him, you did this. I like this. Do this. Why did he send me to somebody else? So I get into that person's chair and I show her the picture and I said, I want my nails just like this. This is what he did. I want this. Can you do this? She was like, yeah, cool. So as we get started, I can already tell that it's not going as well as I hoped. So as you can see from the picture, I wanted a nude nail, but not pink. I wanted more cream because I wanted it to match my skin tone. So when I see that it's giving pink, I let her know. And she said that that was all they had. And I let her know that it wasn't and that the owner had did it himself on me. So she went to him, asked him for help, and he was able to get her something that was more fitting for my skin tone. But to be honest, it still wasn't the exact color, but I wasn't going to press the issue too much. Okay. So then we get to the part where she's supposed to be showing off her skill.
It's really not that bad. It just needs a little shaping.
Okay. So shaping is where you're supposed to show your skills. As you can see, I had some of them that were coughing, and then I had I think it was just my pinky and maybe one other that was supposed to be stiletto-ish. It wasn't really stiletto because it was short. Why did it kind of burn when she was shaping? Like she was shaping, like she was doing a lot. Now, I've been to the nail salon before, but it did not feel right the way she was shaping it. And so then I also noticed that the shapes weren't aligned. Like they weren't matching. Like the stiletto, one side was better than the other. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, hey, I don't know if I like this. And she was like, don't worry about it. Just wait. You're gonna see, you're gonna like it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And this is before she actually finished, shaping. She's already cut it up and she's tried to start the shape, but once she actually gets into it, I'm like, it's giving kind of crooked. And at one point she had said it was my finger. Now I got my nails done today, so I'm not going to show y'all my nails. Only one of them is crooked. And it's not really crooked, but I know I'll be struggling when I put on my press-ons. So I can see that, but it wasn't even a nail that she was talking about. I'm like, girl, no, you just crooked. So anyways, not her trying to come for me and say that my nails were crooked. And so then she gets to actually where she's about to start coloring. And I'm like, not coloring, but doing all the designs. And I'm like, I really don't like this. I was trying to tell you earlier that I don't like it. And she got an attitude. She got up, she walked off, and then she went and started, talking. And I'm like, okay, cool. So the owner comes and she talks to her, gets her side of the story. And I'm like, I let you know multiple times that I did not like it. We've already bothered him because you were finna do a color that I didn't like. So it's not like I was telling you that I never told you that I wasn't satisfied. I was progressively telling you. I wasn't rude about it, but I was telling you that I did not like my service. So he's like, well, you should have told her to stop. And I said, I did tell her to stop. Well, you should have snatched your hand. And I'm like, I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to snatch my hand from somebody who's doing my nails. I'm just going to let them know. And then I would expect for them to listen and move accordingly. Tell me why he was like, he basically insinuated that I wasn't going to. And I told him, I said, before we get to that, I told him I asked for you to do my nails. I showed you the picture and I said, you did this. I like the way you do this. I didn't specifically say, hey, I want you to do my nails, but everything else pointed to the fact that I wanted you to do my nails. So the issue was I wanted you to do it. And because I didn't say this part, but because he had, his favorite and, reliable customers because they come on a more frequent basis, he took those over me. I mean, I get that. I understand that. I hate that about nail salons and different like service salons where they take their more frequent people or sooner, or they prioritize them more. But I'm like, you don't know. If you do well for me good enough, I could become one of those. But because every time I've come, I've had a different person, my services have only been satisfied once. So I haven't been able to come back. I've been trying out different nail salons, but that's just I'm just rambling about that. But I let him know that I wanted you to do my nails. And he was like, he didn't have time. He wanted to do whose nails he wanted to do. And so he was like, okay, well, we're not going to do your nails today, and you're not going to get over on us, basically insinuating that I was going to run out on him doing my or her doing my nails. And I'm like, that was never the plan. I just want, if y'all want me to pay upwards of $80 to $90 on some nails, I want them to one, look cute and be what I asked for. That was the issue. So they told me that she was going to cut off my nails and that I was going to leave. They kicked me out of the salon. And I'm looking around and people are looking at me like, what's going on? Because I'm confused. I just want you to do my service. So she cut off my nails and I left. And I got in my car. I cried, called my sister, never went back to the shop. And honestly, I never even got my nails done again after that, except for that one time for my friend's wedding. Like, it was traumatizing for me to want to express the way I feel about my dissatisfaction and to be told time and time again, no, just wait. And for it to still not be up to par before we even finish and to be kicked out. I'm not going to say what I think it was, but y'all can kind of figure out why I feel like I was kicked out. But to be kicked out for that, it really bothered me, especially because even though I can act up, I chose not to because I wanted my nails done. So yeah, after that, I didn't get my nails done for maybe 2 or 3 years. My sister said to write a review. I didn't even think it was worth it at that point. I just said they weren't going to get my money. They didn't get my money that day, and they weren't going to get my money ever again. And that's when I really started getting my press-ons. Now, like I said, I don't have my nails on now, but when I become that press-on girly again, just know I'm going to pay for the press-ons because I'm going to make sure that they're going to be up to par on what I want. Another incident where I tried to calmly express my dissatisfaction actually involves the logo for this very podcast. So obviously, it's a big deal. I was creating my baby, Break Free From Yourself podcast, and I needed an artist to bring my vision of the logo to reality. I believe I was in a bunch of Facebook groups at the time, so I just put out that, hey, I need an artist for my logo. And there were a lot of people that actually reached out to me. But I ended up picking this one girl because she was a Black business owner, and I loved the portfolio that she showed me. Now, notice, I said I love the portfolio that she showed me. I really feel like it was somebody else's work in hindsight, but I went with it. Everything from the start seemed to be real good. She showed me her website with the prices. She claimed to be attentive to her customers. And again, the portfolio she showed made me think that I was going to get good quality work. Now, I did not like the prices. They were kind of high, especially compared to the other people. But after thinking about it, I thought it would be better to pay for quality work because I'm going to be using this long term. So we get to work and she asked for the concept of the logo. And I let her know, and I quote, my complete idea is of a woman, which is myself, with locks breaking away from herself. So I envisioned the chains being connected to my wrist and the ends of my hair, but literally breaking in the middle. The woman should be finding peace in breaking from the baggage. And then I let her know that I'll attach a picture of a yoga pose, and then I'll also attach a picture of myself so she can create that. And I said that twice. The chains are going to connect from my hair to my wrist, but break in the middle. I thought the concept was pretty self-explanatory. Plus, I gave her kind of a direction of what I wanted. I sent her some pictures, and she chose from the 3 pictures that I sent her, and she even asked me about colors. So these are the 3 pictures. There's this one. Then there's this one. And then there's this one, which is the one that she actually chose to use. So as you can see, at that time, I had my hair locked. I don't have locks anymore. And I had 2-tone locks. It was blonde and brown. Fresh blonde, by the way. So I let her know that I wanted brown for my colors as long as it didn't clash. She suggested that a splash of another color will be good as an accent. She suggested gold and pink. I told her gold was fine, but pink is not for me. I don't like that color. I don't know why. I just don't. So don't give me pink, but if we can we use either red or green? She said that should be fine. And she would try to make it work. So we exchanged numbers and began to talk business. She informed me that the full price was $125 and it was due via Zelle or Apple Pay. And that was the entire reason we exchanged numbers in the first place. I should have known then that that was a red flag, but as a newbie, I had no idea. And she also told me that there was a turnaround time of 72 hours starting the next day. So I sent her the payment on May 24th. May 25th would have been that first day. After the payment was sent, she sent me a logo that she had just finished for somebody else, and it did not give what she sent on the portfolio or via her website. So what I did was took my phone, went to her website and her portfolio 3 or 4 times before I responded back. And unfortunately, I had lied and told her it was cute. Worst mistake ever. After 72 hours, I hadn't heard from her, so I reached out and followed up myself, and I got no response. The next day, I follow up again, and she responds immediately and shows me this in her draft. I'm gonna let y'all come to y'all own conclusions of that image. But after she sent that, she sent me a text saying the edits are free. If you need any corrections, let me know because I have a busy day ahead of me in the next couple of hours. Baby, I needed them free edits because what the hell is that? But this is where I messed up. What I should have did was just been upfront about how I hated the art style, that she did not use the colors that we agreed upon, and the full concept was not completed. Instead, I gave her a compliment sandwich, saying, I like what you have done so far. I did have an idea of the chains being around my wrist. Also, is there a way that you can darken the blonde a little to differentiate it from my forehead? Not much though. Lastly, instead of blue, can we try either red or gold or both? After that, I sent a couple more points to clarify the original idea for my logo. She sent her next draft and it still wasn't it. Even after that, I was not satisfied, but I didn't want to hurt this girl's feelings and say that it was just not going to work. I gave her another chance, stupidly. And this was the third time trying to explain nicely what I envisioned for my logo. I was critiquing the work, but it seemed like I was critiquing myself at this point because I was using the inspo pic. Sorry, I got interrupted by a phone call. But why did this girl add clip art and think it was going to work? And then send me a message talking about she works better when she freestyles. Where is the freestyle? Look at this. Where is the freestyle? I tried my best to work with her because I had already sent my money and her website said that there were no refunds. But I felt like I was being played with at this point because there's false advertisement. What you showed me is not what I'm receiving. Well, what you showed me originally before I paid for it is not what I'm receiving. You did show me this after I paid my money, but this is not what you showed me initially. This is not the dream that you sold me. So at that point, I feel like I had been played with because this is not what you sold me. I'm pissed. I sent a paragraph explaining to her just that. At that point, there was a back and forth about creative differences, and she claimed that she had 400 clients and 9 consultations that day, and that's why it took her a while. Meanwhile, I forgot to say that it had been 2 weeks from the start date, and she was sending me this bull as logo for $125. No, that what she just gave me, this clip art was not worth $125. So not only was the communication piss poor after the money was sent, but I had to keep reaching out to you for follow-ups because you were not reaching out to me. You said that you keep contact with your customers, but why did I have to keep reaching out to you? I'm tired of the excuses. I want a refund and I want it now. After all the back and forth and mentioning of possibly taking necessary actions due to the false advertisement, she said her piece and basically told me that she was sending one last final draft and then she was ceasing all communication after that. This is what I received 22 days after I made my first payment and 3 weeks after the initial start date of my service. And why did I get that message or this picture 5 days after the message that she sent me talking about you gonna get what you get and don't throw a fit, basically? Then she blocked me on Facebook and my number after these images were sent because she sent two. I don't know why she kept sending it twice, but she sent it twice. Of course, I was an unsatisfied customer. So I did what I needed to do to rectify the situation, and I found a designer on Fiverr who did a logo for me for a fraction of the $125 that she charged me for that bull. And it came in only like maybe 2 or 3 days. That is the logo that y'all see today. And I don't recall having to get any edits for that one. I feel like maybe it was a tweak, but it wasn't anything memorable as far as having any edits. So that kind of gave me PTSD. As you know, I just started BJ the Tech Bay, so I needed to create a logo, and I didn't know what to do as far as trying to get a logo. I didn't use Fiverr. I don't know why I didn't think about Fiverr. What I did do is I found a artist on Etsy, and the process was not too bad. It did take just maybe like a day or so longer, but I was really patient. The person was very communicative. We did go through all 3 edits that she offered for free, and I was satisfied with the logo that I got. So it wasn't as long and as drawn out as the situation that I just described. So don't think being nice about it will always work out in your favor, because sometimes it will. Other times it'll make it that much harder for you. But if you're paying for a service, make sure you're paying for the service that you are paying for. Do not adjust your standards when you're paying for a service. I had to learn the hard way that communicating effectively the first time goes a long way. And it's still something that I'm working on till this day. But I'm definitely breaking free from lowballing myself to offend the next person. My money is just good as someone else's, especially if the service is something that I'm putting my name on. Don't play with me, just like Erykah Badu said. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my Anyways, I'm done rambling. Thank you for coming back to listen to another episode. Please come and see and hear me on the next episode of Break Free From Yourself podcast. Bye, honeys. If you don't already follow my Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, go ahead and do that. TikTok is my best friend, so you know you can definitely find me on there. Use any of those platforms to comment and let me know what you think or want to hear on the podcast. Bye, honeys. Thank you for listening to Break Free From Yourself podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourself and come back for another episode.
Follow this girl.
Okay,
Subscribe. I don't know your account name. We gotta restart that. We gotta refocus.